Hi, and welcome back to EdTech Insider. I'm Andrew Cohen, the founder of Brainscape, and today I'm with Jan Reichelt, one of the founders of Mendeley. How are you doing, Jan?
Hi, I'm fine, and you?
I'm great. So Mendeley is a new type of academic research sharing platform. Tell us a little bit about what makes it different than other sources on the market.
Right, so Mendeley by now is actually the world's largest research collaboration platform. So we allow people to organize their academic papers. If you're a researcher, a PhD student, professor, somebody who has to deal with a lot of academic documents, we help you to organize your stuff, similar to iTunes helps you to organize your MP3 files. And what we then do is we aggregate anonymously all that usage data across the different desktop installations, and by that have created the world's largest open research catalog, which you can find on Mendeley.com. And in total we have 80 million documents, and on top of those documents we have readership information, who reads it, mainly anonymously, but we keep track on what's the status of that person. It's a PhD student from the US and so forth. So it's a productivity tool and a data platform for academic research.
And what motivates everybody to upload all this data on their own? Is there a social component? Can you group into, say, a research group if you're collaborating together?
Yes. So the motivation really comes from the fact that Mendeley solves the individual researcher's problem. So if you have to keep track of 500,000 research documents during the course of your research, we help you to keep track of that. And once it's a Mendeley desktop, you can synchronize it to your personal private web account on Mendeley Web. And if you do that, then we are able to aggregate anonymously all that information. In addition, you can create collaborative groups. So say you are in a department and you're working on a paper together with your colleagues, or you want to curate, let's say, a digital library of research papers for your colleagues together with your colleagues, then you can create a group and do that online as well. And all of that happens in the cloud, and that's why we're able to kind of aggregate that information.
There's obviously a lot of research going on behind the scenes that the layperson who's not involved in academia doesn't really get to see. How does making the behind-the-scenes research work advance the field of education in general? How does it benefit the rest of us?
Yeah. So what our mission really is, our mission is we want to make academic research more accessible and transparent. So we want to show what's going on in academic research. It's relatively disconnected from the general public. If you are starting a PhD, you don't know who is working on which topic, and via a crowdsourced platform like Mendeley, we can actually show what's going on. So we can recommend people to each other based on their research, and currently this is happening basically by people going to conferences and looking at posters or listening to talks, but there's no, there so far haven't been any good tools for people to collaborate and to find each other based on what they are working on. And that was actually the biggest problem we had when my co-founders and we started Mendeley. We basically developed a tool in order to solve our own problems, and then over time we discovered that many more people had the same problem, and that's why we have seen so much traction in terms of adoption of Mendeley.
And do you have any stories of people who have found each other to become co-authors on a paper through Mendeley that otherwise wouldn't have known each other before?
Right, so what we see is that people create a lot of collaborative open groups on Mendeley, and it basically happens on a daily basis that people find either papers or people on Mendeley.com because somebody says, okay, I'm an expert in that topic, I create an open group based on, for example, the topic future of science, or bibliographic metrics in order to measure impact. And then you can discover those groups and people who are involved with these topics on Mendeley.com, and then you can contribute by, for example, either contributing papers or contributing in a discussion, and the discussion emerges around the papers, or by contacting people, and then obviously it's up to the people whether they actually want to go off and write a paper together, or whatever they want to do. But we see that that is happening every day on Mendeley.
It sounds like, you mentioned that you were the world's largest platform already, and it sounds like the ecosystem of features and content is already pretty wide, whether I'm an individual user, researcher, whether I have a private group, or whether I choose to have a public and open collaboration forum. What's next? Now that you've got such a strong base, how are you going to advance this?
Right. First of all, I would say yes, we have a strong position, but the market is huge. There are millions of researchers, millions of students, plus the general public, and they all, I think, deserve better access and visibility and understanding of what's going on in academia. So because we get so much data, it's very difficult for us with a small team to really evaluate all the data ourselves because it's far too much. I mean, on a daily basis, we get between 200 and 450 documents into the system, and it's very hard for us to it's challenging already for us to kind of handle that data. So what we've developed is we've developed an API that lets others access the data and then build applications on top of that. Because by opening their data, we give others the possibility to actually create something beneficial on top of that. So what we've seen, what people have done is they have, for example, developed a tool which is called readermeter.org, where you can type in a researcher's name and get real-time impact statistics for that researcher on Mendeley, based on Mendeley's universe. We've seen creating apps that integrate Mendeley with Twitter. We have seen apps of people developing a WordPress plugin, so if you write a blog post, then you can recommend additional scientific articles based on the blog post. So, and this is something we want to encourage going forward, that people discover and use the data we make more accessible. We've created this API, and the data is licensed CC BY, so you can actually also try to monetize on that. And we've also launched an API contest, a developer contest, which we call the Mendeley Binary Battle. And it's running, I think, until August. And the price is $10,001, that's the binary battle. And we have judges such as Tim O'Reilly, Werner Vogels, the CTO of Amazon, James Powell, the CTO of Thomson Reuters, and so forth. And so you can submit your app, and we evaluate your app based on usage, virality, a couple of criteria which you can see on dev.mendeley.com, and you can sign up, and let's see what the results from that binary battle will be.
So it's almost like a global hackathon using the Mendeley API.
Yes.
I imagine there could be some great tools and infographics that come from this at the very least. So you mentioned dev.mendeley.com as the source for the API. Where else can people find information about Mendeley or even contact you?
Okay, so there are a couple of ways how you can get involved. One is, first of all, I mean, if you're a researcher, if you have to deal with academic documents, academic content, you can just create an account and sign up and just benefit from the tool. It's currently free. We have a freemium plan which lets you upgrade to more storage, but that's optional. And we see people in research labs using it, but also in different, for example, smaller agencies, special effects agencies. So all types of people are using the software. Then, as I mentioned earlier, you can try to sign up for the binary battle, try to develop an application on top of the data. And then if you like Mendeley, you can also become a Mendeley advisor, which is a local representative of Mendeley, local face of Mendeley, to the academic community at your university. So we have received a lot of requests from people who said, well, I love what you do, how can I tell my people, do you have any materials I can send to my colleagues, to my friends, presentation materials, flyers, and so forth. So if you look at mendeley.com/advisors, yes, yes, then you'll be able to sign up, and you can already see where there are advisors. Maybe there are already advisors at your local institutions. You can also get in touch with them, get information from them. And lastly, we're obviously always interested in very clever people to join the team. So check out our jobs page.
Well, every startup should be so lucky to have such a strong base of power users as you guys do. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you
very much. Jan Reichelt with Mendeley, and I'm Andrew Cohen with EdTech Insider. We'll see you next time.